All right, so if you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed the music by Abbey Noise. You can find them in the description or look them up online. They got a lot of fantastic pieces of music. I just wanted to do a summary on the engine block here. As you saw, we went through a number of steps trying to get this motor unseized. Of course, we wanted to get it done while it was still in the car so that we could check all the other operating systems like the ignition, the generator, the transmission, and just see if the engine had the ability to run, but that wasn't going to happen. So did the soaking for 8 weeks and kept trying to bar it over with a big bar on the crank bolt, and of course it never moved. It just didn't move. So we pulled the engine out of the car and worked on it with a little bit of heat and beating on it with some wood blocks to see if it would move, and nothing was moving. Became suspicious that maybe there was more restriction than just the one cylinder that was obviously a problem because it was very heavily corroded on top. But the question became, is there something else holding it up? And sure enough, it turned out there was a second cylinder piston that was seized in the cylinder, and of course we were fighting two animals at the same time. So once three pistons came out, that gave a little bit of maneuverability on the crankshaft because there was less rotating problems. And by working on the one that was less seized in the cylinder, that even gave further movement of the crankshaft, which allowed to get the rest of the pistons out of the cylinders and actually remove the crankshaft. I'm going to stop this and switch this so that you can see what I'm talking about. So you can see that once the crankshaft is out of the way, there is plenty of room to actually get to the bottom side of the pistons. And I was driving them with a brass punch so that I wasn't causing any damage. But that enabled access to the most stuck piston, which was this one here. This is the other one that was stuck, but it wasn't so bad once it got moving. This one, once it actually started moving, I started to hit it from the bottom as well and kept spraying it with penetrant to create as much possible lubrication as I could. If you look at the piston itself, there, I get that into view, you can see that it was, I believe it was corroded as well as oil buildup that was causing it to be locked in there. Of course, it was very heavily corroded on top, so that certainly didn't help. But surprisingly, I'm kind of surprised it was that stuck. And here's the other one. You can see the other piston. Even one of the rings actually moves still in it, but you can see that it had heavy corrosion on it as well, especially above the top ring on it. So I'm going to flip the motor over so you can actually see the cylinders. There is some pitting, but I'm pretty sure it's well within honing that we can clean this block up. Give me a second and I'll flip this over. Okay, now you can have a bit of a look at the cylinders. I'm not sure how well it'll show up on the camera, but you can see that there is definitely a little bit of corrosion in there. Pitting is minimal, which is a good thing. This is the troubled one, and oddly enough, it actually doesn't look terrible inside. And this one, the piston was definitely a lot of corrosion around it, considering this one wasn't as stuck. The rest of them look kind of similar, but I totally believe that this is going to be honeable, provided the engine builder doesn't find any cracks in the block. That's going to be the deciding factor. And again, of course, we really hope to use this engine, as it is the numbers matching engine for the Monterey. So yeah, there. Now you can see this one's got definitely a little bit of corrosion down the bottom. But again, I've seen a lot of heavier pitting in cylinders, especially when they've sat for that amount of time. So that's where the engine status is right now. Got it cleaned up a little bit more, so the engine builder won't be as upset when it arrives at the shop. And that'll be the next phase now, waiting to see what he has to say about the condition of it. And I think the crankshaft, which is sitting over here, is very turnable. It'll have to be turned, I'm sure, but it actually wasn't as scored as I expected to find. You can see the condition of all the journals there. And we'll be getting new pistons, so we weren't worried about that. Of course, new wrist pins and all new bearings as well. We're going to talk about the camshaft with the builder, because the camshaft, I've heard a lot of different opinions about them, and I know they're having metal problems in the world of casting them right now. So that's all I got to say for now. I hope you enjoyed a little lesson on seized engine with 352, and we'll be back with another video.